angustia que siente no sirve para nada. Oye, tienes que cambiar, lucha porque no es tan mal, risa porque la vida te da, la angustia que siente no sirve para nada.
Check. Is this thing actually on? Is it working? You always have to double check if it's actually working. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Bitcoin 62.7. Can it survive? Thank you so much for being here, by the way. Appreciate your time. It's absolutely amazing that you took the time to hang out with me. Let's have fun. This could be one of the most epic streams we've ever had. You know how it could go. We never know, actually, how these streams could go, but we hope it's one of the most epic streams in the history of my stream. Make sure I'm situated over here in the linen. God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. We're kicking it live, okay, from sunny Nantucket. No, but seriously, shout out to everybody here. We love you. We appreciate something like that. Locations undetermined. God bless you all. We're going to look at the facts. We're going to take a look at a bunch of different things today and break it down. I see liquidity above us here at 63,600. And it's telling me that the shorts are kind of in the target area for a snipe. So something's brewing right now. The dump may just be kind of inducing shorts here. We'll see what happens. I see some interesting things brewing for Bitcoin. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. If anyone can figure it out, it's us together, right? You guys showing up, me showing up somehow, even if we're not talking. I'm telling you, there's a synchronicity going on through the universe, and I get channeled by it. We figure things out together. I feel like even if I'm alone here in my studio, I'm with you guys. Let's take a look. First thing I want to talk about is the S&P. Maybe I'm not saying it's going to bounce maybe immediately. It might toggle a little bit, but I feel, in my humble opinion, we're getting a little too oversold. We have this downtrend on the RSI, well, uptrend in price, which is a bit of a hidden bullish divergence, curving up on the MACD. If we start to get a turn here, all right, this thing could reverse. To me, it could either go sideways for a bigger pump. It might just make the right shoulder for the dump. But in the interim, I see a bit of a reversal for the S&P, and I could be horribly wrong. We'll see what happens, but I was able to call a couple of these beforehand, and people are just overly bearish right now on the S&P. And maybe we don't have to be so bearish. Look, a bit of an inverted head and shoulder beginning to brew here on the 1 hour time frame. Don't be surprised if we get a pump to that 200 moving average. There's a high volume node sticking. There's a gap here. Seems like it's all setting up, but hey, what do I know? Maybe it does nothing, right? Probably just forget about it. Montauk Renewables, I own none, should get in. I like it here. I like this kind of cup with a bit of a handle, higher low, 21 above the 200. Maybe it dumps like a little altcoin and goes after liquidity. I'm going to show you a coin that just did that, and I pointed it out yesterday. I said, watch out for the dip. I'm just going to show you how they do it. So they go after these stops, right? Not every time. And a good, I'd say, that's why I'd say 70% of the time these will hit with good volume. Maybe, and you might only win 3 out of 10 in a bad market. So like you still get 3 out of 10 when the market's horrible. But they will X out maybe 6, maybe, you could say even 7 out of 10 of these trades, they may go grab the liquidity. So it feels like they're always stomping people out. But if you have a consistency to it, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? And you risk the right amount. What I mean by this, say you had a trade here. Say you had a kitty of 20 grand. 20 grand. And you went 300 for 900 on this trade. All right? And you lost it 7 times. 7 here, and you won it 3 times. Okay. 9 times 3, 2,700. 3 times 7, 2,100. Subtract $600. Okay. And yes, but now you have $20,600. Just saying. Keep doing it. Eventually you have $21,200. Keep doing it over time. Now, you might lose freaking 14 trades and only win 6, and it looks horrible, right? That can happen, but when you go by that, you're actually up $1,200. So you got to trade through the pain. You might have 5 losses, friends. 1 win, another 2 losses, 2 wins. But as long as you're doing proper risk management and you stick with the script, You know what I mean? And then what happens is then every once in a while the market's good and I take a big move on a very high probability trade and it does hit. And you've seen me make some bigger money. So I'm not always making huge trades, but I will when the time is right. You know? And the key is to watch the stream for when the trades get bigger back. There's something going on with Lifer. He sees something in the markets now. He's bigger than he's going harder than he was before. These are tells. Someone that goes live every single day, there's going to be tells in their habits. So you're like, well, he didn't do that for months. Now he's doing it. Something's up. Something seems to be up, right? So that's one way to use the channel to your advantage. Even if you just look at BOOKMAP every day here, write down red above. Did it go to the above? I mean, like you could tell me right now how accurate BOOKMAP is on your own, just from coming here every day. And I know just by, observing it with you that when there's heavy red above us, we likely go there. Now, maybe not immediately, but at the end of the day, when the day ends up ending, when we end up getting closer to that daily candle, or when we, by tomorrow, we usually plow through this liquidity. Not every time. I've seen liquidity up here before and we don't get it. All right. Anyway, let's get into Bitcoin. Let's do our top-down analysis for BTC. We're going to end up here on the 1 hour time frame. It's kind of hanging out. I'm not a fan right now. I'm not in a trade. Feeling out what I'm seeing for price action. You can kind of already get a gist of where we're going to end up there for Bitcoin, right? A spoiler alert. Okay. Very oversold the stochastics RSI. Very close to where the RSI, the lowest it's probably ever been for Bitcoin, right? On the monthly chart. And the best, we could look at BTC USD, all-time history index for bigger indications. This has a lot more data, right? But you can see, bear markets usually spend a good, a nice little chunk down here. And we're only a little bit. We still got, it says we still are only halfway through. But it does say, like October, November, that would suffice as a pretty long period below the stochastics on the monthly chart. Anyway, and there's the lowest the RSI has ever been. Is right there. We're pretty dang close to it. So we're as oversold as Bitcoin gets. It can get a little worse, but we're pretty much at the peak of that low, Off the 50, you can see we've lost it. We hung out on this bear market here. Here we lost it for a second, got back above it as support. We're right there. And the lowest it ever goes is to the 100 moving average on the monthly chart. That's what nobody's talking about, right? The 100 on the monthly has always been support for Bitcoin. So even if we come here, and again, so like to me, it's suggesting that you're not going to get that 40,000, that 38,000, $45,000 Bitcoin. Those numbers just aren't going to come for you. That's what it's telling me. I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be the first time we ever lose it and we have to test. That's the 80. We have to test. This is the 80 moving average. The 80 monthly. The 80 on the monthly. Sorry about that. Please forgive me. This is the 80 on the monthly. Correct myself yet again. The 80 moving average. This is the 100. The 200 doesn't exist. It's this little blip right there. That's, because we just, we don't have it yet. This is what a coin looks like when it's like first comes out on the daily. They won't even have the 200 moving average just yet. What we've noticed is when it does exist, we like it. It might come to the 200 on the monthly. It's interesting. That's another idea. So one of my buddies came up with this idea. We would find coins that didn't have the 200. They would be pumping, and we found once the 200 was created, it would eventually go to the 200. But these were all coins. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to do that just yet. Eventually, it will. Eventually, the monthly 200 will come into play. And it will be part of Bitcoin's life. You have to understand, Bitcoin's adopting bigger time frames as it starts to grow. And this is also confusing people. Because before the monthly, you couldn't even look at it. It didn't have enough data to really give you enough anything. You see what I'm saying? But then once we made this bull flag on the monthly, you actually had a measured move and a breakout. And we actually did exactly what we were supposed to do. After a massive pump like that, what do? You come back down to the 618. We're pretty dang close, and we might just skimp. We might just bounce off 51, 52K. Maybe liquidity, like a crazy capitulation wick down to 48,000, and I believe that will be, if anything, will be the absolute bottom. So with firm confidence, I am talking with my, with my reputation on the line, there's a high likelihood. I'm saying there'll be somewhere between 55 and now we have bottomed. If we haven't bottomed already. The fact that this hit 5 twice, then it hit at 8, now it's back at 12. I'm telling you, whenever the stochastics were low on the 2-week, and this hit a low number, a one-digit number, anywhere below 10, is a steal for Bitcoin. I have to be, you saw me open up the war chest and buy more Bitcoin. You have to buy more Bitcoin. For me personally, you do whatever makes you happy. But for me, this is it. You only get to buy here. You can't buy here. After this, it starts to get to here, then to there, and then eventually we get to greed again. You can't buy greed. Greed's going to be back at 90, 88, 100K. When we hit 100K again, we're going to get some greed. We're probably going to dump back down somewhere to 86, 88. Then we're going to have to play that game at 100K again. And once we finally break through 100K this time, maybe it'll be the absolute last time. They tricked me for sure. I had it, wow, man, we'll never go below 100K again. Maybe 90K was will be the bottom. But, I could see when I'm saying on our way up, I did concede that we had topped out at 126 based on the technical analysis. But numbers alone, just when we had ripped through 100, I was like, oh, wow. And, euphorically, that's what I desired to believe, right? I was drinking my own Kool-Aid. I owned a bunch of Bitcoin. I've been buying it for a long time. I was like, wow, if it never goes below 100K, I'm a made man with this Bitcoin game. You know what I mean? So it was what it was. Right. But you could, I told my students clearly, 21 far away from the 200, bear div, rising wedge, this usually breaks down to where it began, so that's what we got right now. So anyway, still some hopium. This is this is what you're going to see too. A lot of people are saying, and I've been showing it for a long time, even before we got the right shoulder, I've been drawing up, and it's a head and shoulder pattern. They don't always go the measured move, but I'd say 90% of the time they make it there. That says you get to $12,000 Bitcoin. I'm not saying that's guaranteed, and I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. But it's just kind of crazy to see that that's an actual pattern that I'm seeing, and that's an actual measured move it's on the books, whether I want it to be or not. And I could cheat it a little bit, but slanted, you take it at the neckline. You draw your neckline. And whatever that trajectory is, you take that move down from the right shoulder, right? Crazy. What if Bitcoin just capitulates all the way to 30K? I'd be ready for it. As I said, it looks unlikely based on the monthly 80 moving average. We've never broken it in a bear market, so we'll see. Now I shift to the 2-week chart. I like to take it in. Bitcoin's at 62.9. Let me jump back into the small time frames. I've been looking to get into a bit of a scalp here on the 5-minute here on WEEX. Shout out to anyone. If you want a live trade with me, you can jump on in. Let me go get that cooking here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. God bless each and every one of you. I'm so into the trading right now. I haven't had a chance to even look at the chat. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I am focused as ever. All right. Sean, monetization was off yet again. I just flipped it on, no problems. But it is kind of important that we have it on, right? Yeah. We got to keep checking for that. Okay, let's pop out the live chat and see what's happening to the chat. Let me send this link in. God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And again, we were on time today. You can't be late 2 times in a row. Send me 2 times away. Hey. And let's take a look at what's happening here for Bitcoin. Okay, 50-minute on hype getting tight. I got buy orders set, 30K just in case. Bitcoin will drop, somebody says. 15-minute. Got to get paid 10 ways, baby. I dropped a super chat. Let's take a look at that super chat. I read it. It seemed like it was full of knowledge. I heard on a live this morning, the top traders in the world average 10% daily gains. Lesson learned. Yeah, and that's huge. If you get 10% daily gains, that's enormous. You know. It's about just chipping away and staying in the game. Anyone that thinks these huge master wins that go up and down are sustainable, no. It's either a circus act, right? It's just entertainment. It's you know what I mean? Consistency, and then every once in a while you could open it up if you feel there's something there, and you still might take a hit there. But, I up the ante when the trade looks more likely. Like, I would like to take this trade right now. We got the 21 above the 200, but we've been in chop for so long. So this is the trade that I've been watching here on the 5. I'm watching this kind of rising wedge. Now, rising wedges break down 68% of the time. This is not amazingly bullish. This isn't screaming like, let's go, jump on in right now. And on this channel, we kind of jump back and forth between my top down and live trading. If we see something worth live trading, I don't want to, skip out. You can see we've been in this range from 63.1 down to 62.5, back to 63.2, back to 62.6. We've just been kind of in this chop. The cool thing is we are getting higher lows inside the chop. Anyway, let's figure it out. We're going to get to this. We're going to get there. I'm taking my time because time is needed. Patience is important when trading. So the 2-week chart. One thing I want to teach you is when the weekly loses the 200 moving average. The yellow line here. The next stop is going to be the 2-week 200. How do I know? This is just how it works. I've back-tested all this insanity for you, so you don't have to really double, second guess this. You just got to go along for the ride and be like, you know what this man says is true. I don't tell you things for any other reason but to show you the years of backtesting. This is all. I just want to save you time. I figured out how to get rich, folks. It's it's kind of simple. You wake up, 16 years old, and, you go to, if you go to school, if not, or you figure out, some people are geniuses. They know what they want immediately. I was a bit of a lost soul. Took me some time. I knew I liked music. I knew I liked entertaining. But I'm going to give you the key to how to get rich real quick, just for 5 minutes. So 5 minutes, how to get rich. All right? And this is not financial advice. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. I only turned 500 into over $5 million, but don't listen to me. So let's take a look. So the idea is you're 16 years old. You don't know what you want to do. If you're me, if you're lucky, and, I wanted to be a filmmaker or something, or, maybe you go to college, maybe you don't. The whole point is you come out of it all at 22, 23 years old. You either have a degree or you don't. You either know what you know or you don't. Maybe you get hooked up with a job through your degree. Your family hooks you right up, and you just start right away making 120 grand a year. But if you're like me, you come out with not much going on. You don't really know anybody. I didn't have any family in New York. I'd moved to New York. Not one family member lived in New York City. Not a cousin, uncles, nobody. We are all Boston people, New England people. So I moved to New York City not knowing one person, literally not knowing one person. So C's of 5 billion, I had to network myself into something. And I got a degree in film and TV, and I networked myself into the TV industry. And I started making commercials. Point is, I got you got to get a job. So this is for the people that aren't connected, that don't get handed a silver spoon. These are for the people that have to grind. This is me. Hey, you know what? You might be more like me. And if you got a silver spoon, I'm not trying to, God bless you too. We could be friends. I want to be friends with everybody in the world. One of my buddies was born into wealth. He's still one of the nicest, coolest people and most down-to-earth people I've ever met in my life. Once you get a job, okay, because, and it pays okay, because everyone complains, I don't make enough, My first job was $175. $175 a day. No health insurance. No, I'm not lying. Out of college. You'd be like, what? How? Right? $875 a week times 4, $3,500. Okay? There it was. I made $3,500. First job out of college. I had rent. My rent was about, let's just say, it was like about $1,800. Me and my sister split an apartment. Okay? And so my rent was like $900. So that took me down to about, and there was taxes. I probably ended up taking home $2,900. So that took me down to $2,000. Then I spent about maybe, I could budget myself to $500 to $600 a month on food, right? But, I probably would spend, and I usually get down to almost zero money. I barely saved anything, right? But that was my first job ever, and I stayed there, but eventually I made $250 a day, and I made $1250 a week. You know what I mean? And that was big to me, because next thing you know, now I had $4,800 a month almost. And then after that, you know what I mean? It changed a little bit. And then eventually I got to, and I kept grinding and grinding. And what I did is, as my paychecks went up, I didn't change my living situation. I eventually moved in with my sisters to a 3-bedroom that was about $1,800. My rent actually went down. My rent went down to $600 a month. All right. And I did that for about 3 years. And at this point, I got into the union, and I was making $350 to $400 a day. You see? Next thing you know, I was making, with overtime, sometimes between, $600, almost $600 a day. I was bringing in dang near $2,000 a week now. Now I'm bringing in $8,000 a month, right? I'm making $96,000 a year. But my rent is still $600 a month, right? I'm working a night shift. I'm wearing Costco's jeans. I'm not dressing fancy for anyone. I'm not buying watches. I'm not trying to buy a car. I use the train station in my bike. I got a bicycle in the train. And I'm trying to stack as much money as I can, and I'm investing. I learned about investing, and I don't talk about the investing part of this, but at this point, I'm investing. And I'm learning about Bitcoin and anything I could put this money into. And I continuously began to make more money. Eventually, I did move into an apartment that was $1,450, and I had to pay the whole rent because my wife didn't work. She had, took care of our kids. So my rent went up. But at that point, I was making like, 10 to 12 grand a month, and I could handle it. You see what I'm saying? But even then, I lived in that apartment for 10 years. 10 years I lived in that 1-bedroom apartment. And as my accounts went up, as I got overtime money, as certain things changed, as some of my investments hit, I didn't go and spend money on watches. I didn't buy cars. I didn't buy boats. I didn't buy fancy suits. I had what I needed to look nice here and there, and I kept it super humble. And I lived that life for a long time. And then I started my YouTube channel. Life started to change. I started a business even before that. I started learning, how to kind of balance it all. And so I just, you know what I mean? How to get rich is to basically do anything you love. And then eventually I learned trading. I sat at trading for so long. And, now I basically kind of sell the information of trading to the world, and give it away for free value on the channel. So there's a way to win in anything in life. You just have to keep pushing, folks. Right? So, because this channel's more, I love this channel. We're going to trade. We're going to live trade. We're going to have fun. Don't get me wrong. We're going to break Bitcoin down. It hasn't really moved in the last hour. It's the same price it was 10 minutes ago. So you didn't miss anything. It's 62.8. It was 62.8 about, 5-7 minutes ago when I started talking. So while I yapped my face off, Bitcoin did absolutely nothing. So you're okay. All you did was learn life lessons about the old grandeur. And some of you are older than me. You know this stuff. Some of you are younger than me. Maybe you're eager to hear it. If it was me, I'd be loving to hear this. Okay, 875 a week is pretty standard hourly pay after tax for a week. I still know a lot around 500 a week. Yeah. I believe 1,000 a month is still a lot for most. Really, $1,000 a month? Are you serious? Well, in New York City and Boston, the pricing is higher, than most. So here's our hopium copium, folks. Can we make this a left shoulder? Can this be a head? Right? Can we get a shoulder, head, right shoulder, and break to the upside here for Bitcoin? So you're telling me there's a chance? There is a chance, folks. There is a chance. You pull that fib there, and we're bouncing on the 786 there from this wick here, from that impulse. There's a chance, A little oversold on the stochastics, pushing down now. We need that to curve sooner than later. We did come down off the bottom, though. Bit of an Adam and Eve even there. Some signs of a possible turnover. No, not an apple turnover. Get your head out of the oven there. I know, they're good, though, aren't they? With the little vanilla thing on. Oh, man, so nice. I love those. I know. If you ever want to cheer me up, bring me an apple turnover, okay? Don't bring me nothing else. Like, don't bring me, I'm not into chocolate in the morning. So none of that chocolate muffin stuff. None of those crepes with chocolate. Get that out of here. All right? We're looking for pastries, puff pastries. You know what I mean? I'm a puff pastry guy. Heck, a plain croissant is better than a chocolate one. I'm not into it. All right? Don't mess with me. I'll eat it if I have to, if it's okay. I'm not saying it's the worst, but I'd much rather an apple fritter, honeydew donut, or an apple turnover, right? Yeah. It's just kind of the type of person, either you're into that chocolate stuff or you're into pastries. You know what I mean? You can see where my head is at. I must be hungry. I'm thinking about pastries again. Sam. So anyway, the weekly is struggling. We need to see it wick back above. Otherwise, it will close below the 200. If it closes below the 200, we're going to be in some trouble here. We're going to be in some trouble. So it's one thing that we got to watch and pay attention to. Look, shoulder, head, right shoulder. So not the best right now. We got to pay attention. We got to be close. We got to watch it. 5-day chart. 5-day chart getting a bounce there. We have a lot of liquidity, though, and we do have a high volume node sticking out. The 5-day chart is saying, hey, just maybe we get the bounce. Even if we're bearish, you could see this. Look, a shoulder, a head. We might make a right shoulder, and that just is the one that really breaks the camel's back and brings us back down somewhere to that $48,000, $44,000 level. Back to bookmap, heat map, order book. It is suggesting that we go to the upside. We flattened these shorts to 63.7 today. So it's just saying in intraday trading, somewhere by the end of the day, we're going to be ripping up. All right. But that's just kind of, you know what I mean? If you are capable and willing to do physical labor, the trade unions are a great option. Not everyone can do physical work, and many think it's below them, unfortunately. But in 4 years, it's $100,000 a year. That's what I'm saying. Iron workers, $140,000. Some of the highest paid unions in the world is the iron workers in New York City. Local 40, right? So I shorted Bitcoin at 62.1, says Tailman Todd, BTC, Tallman Todd. Shout out to Tallman. Let's see if you win that trade. So the 5 days suggests that we could be bouncing. It's oversold. The stochastics getting the turn. RSI is very low. And, we'll see. It's attempting a tweezer bottom that will close in 3 days and 10 hours. We got some time. The 3-day chart closes tonight. And it put in some work right here with this beautiful tweezer bottom, suggesting that is going to be your low. And what we did is we just took out anyone that thought they were long February 6th. It's kind of funny. I mean, they wait 2 months, pump it all the way up. They might even add to their longs, right? That's why I don't do the whole add to my long thing. Like, I get in and I ride it out. When I see weakness, I start moving my stop loss into position. If I was up this much from being down there, that's why I'm so proud of people that can hold monthly longs and monthly shorts. Because it's like, for me, like, I start moving myself into position. Like, for me, I definitely would have moved myself and probably got out of a short here. But I might have re-entered the short on the right shoulder. So I believe I could trade the whole move. Get it in and out. I don't have to hold it the whole way, But that's me, man. Funny, I love this. I love the quick translation here. When you see it there, it just, Isas medallones saludas, right? Those croissants, greetings. It's so funny. Thank you, brother. They burned option traders for sure. Yeah, the Crypto Taka UBS is a great option. But again, everyone wants to start out as a driver and not earn their way up. Now, are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation and hit that like button. I'll hold options for 3 to 8 months or even a year. I like that, Tom Heals. Sounds like you know what you're doing. So look at this wick here in the 3-day chart, It could even close green in the next 9 hours. We might flip this bullish. But even if it closes red like that, that's still kind of, that's a bullish pin bar. And we could get continuation back to the upside. The 3-day chart could be the one that's like, going to do the V-shaped recovery, but or at least work its way back to the top of the range, come back down. You see what I mean? Then maybe we break out after playing games in this wedge. And that's kind of the area that we're looking for. And look, this could take all the way till, till August. Makes sense, man. We'd have some summer chop. So some signs of bullishness on the 3-day chart, just a little bit. Again, the bearish idea is that we're just making a bear flag, no big deal. And we're going to dump. Even if that's the case, I feel like it's somewhat of an uptrending flag. So if you long, it looks like you'll either just get no real gains and it will slump over, or sideways price action. But it looks, you know what I mean? Or you never know, you might be able to get the bump. And then here we are on the daily time frame. Now the daily, which is, chunky time frame, to me, right there off the bat. And again, remember, I started drawing this bear flag like right around when we got red here. I said, and the reason why, when this candle actually stopped, the reason why was because V-shaped recovery back to the 21. I said remember when we were back here, if you watch the channel, we were saying, hey, we're either going to be here, even here, I was like, well, we're going to either, we finish this dump, and then we're going to pump back to the 21, or we're going to go sideways and meet the 21 and dump, right? Either way, I said, I don't see this dump going any further. I feel like the dump has started to subside. Hit that like button, everybody. The likes keep the stream going and get people to the stream. It really does help the stream. I've seen people hit the likes. I've seen them multiply, and then I've seen the viewers just absolutely erupt. So I really appreciate it. If you've been here a long time, if you're throwing support my way, if you can, flip your phone vertically, right, hit that like button. If you're watching, hit that like button. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. We got Bitcoin Bill dropping 20 Crypto Lifer gifted memberships. And I'd like to take you guys on some deep dives and some behind the scenes live streams of my life that no one else gets to see. So become a member if you want to see that. All right. Just exclusive, maybe even nature, just share stuff that is that inspires me. Show you things that would be exclusive or maybe hard to get, places that most people never get to see. Deserted islands, you never know if the internet is working right. Bill is the man. Thank you so much, everybody. Sam the GOAT, thank you so much for saying that. And God bless everybody here on the stream. 62,850 Bitcoin just sitting in this holding pattern right now between 62.8 and 62.9. Really just absolutely doing nothing. If you're not on 3 accounts, getting those likes up. I know who's saying that's Chris Ghost 333 with the 777s. Chris, I love you, man. Thank you so much. So Bitcoin, there's a bit of a cup and handle here. There's a bit of a higher low. The daily has been ripping 61.5 all the way back to 62. A nice $1,300 move for Bitcoin. Very small range it's in right now, meaning, there's some gains, but I wanted this thing to absolutely... Remember, we sold this top here. I got in here, we sold this top with a weekend pump. It was amazing on Sunday. Then we had the 3-day pullback, which I just kind of, We took a couple shorts, too. I even put out a short, which we hit, if you remember. And now we're back at this bottom. And last night, I was looking for the 50-minute to pump. I said, watch the 50-minute for a pump. It did. I wasn't in a trade. I was like, I'm not taking anything. And then here we are, back to the 21 on the 12-hour. Bit of a double bottom, bit of a higher low. Somewhat promising, but it also looks like a tweezer top, and we just come back to the bottom of the range. Most likely scenario is that we just do this for the next couple days, and then we dump on Monday. So I wouldn't get my hopes up too crazily. I like this kind of cup and handle. The 6-hour looks interesting. The 8-hour was strong. Tweezer bottom, fought it. Then it had a bullish engulfing candle here, barely, but it did top. And now it's kind of, but we're very overbought on the stochastics RSI. RSI does have some legs to room, have some room. It has some legs to move up though, especially after a very strong divergence. It's putting in a good argument of a bit of a bottom here on the 8-hour time frame. Just it may take more time. Those Stokes being high, we might just, still also show some sideways price action. I'm still getting somewhat, I don't have full confidence in a massive move. Another thing here is a bit of a falling wedge. Broke out, retested the trend line, bounced out of here too. But you got a major resistance. Smart idea is wait for this to break out and retest 63.8, even 64,000 to cop along. And look, there's a huge gap of the VRVP all the way back up to 73. And that would be awesome if we end up making it to the 4-hour 200 moving average. These would have to get tight. We'll do something like this. These will get very tight. We'll make a flag. You know what I mean? And then boom, we'll pump up here pretty nicely. There's some gaps here that tell us that this can happen. Next liquidity zone is 66.9. About 67,000. Let's go to the 1 hour now. We're just being really due diligent. And then I go back and I'm always watching the small time frames. We're in the same place we were, everyone, 20 minutes ago at 62,876. You haven't missed anything. All right? You haven't missed a thing. If anything, Bitcoin's getting more into like a smaller symmetrical triangle. If I have to be like, this is the only, see that? And that has a measured move either way here. So like, this is just, where we're standing. These do mainly dump. Shoulder head, kind of shoulder there, but we'll see. This is chop, folks. Okay. Bitcoin 5-minute shoulder almost complete. They will manipulate it again. We'll pump instead of numb. We'll see. Oh, I see this right shoulder you're talking about. Yeah, we'll see. I'm something is telling me just to keep watching. My subconscious mind says you haven't seen what you need yet. And it's telling me, I'll tell you when it's time to trade. You don't tell me. And I'm like, okay. I'm cool with that. 2 hour time frame looks okay. It's got a curve 21. Whenever these are bunched up, we tend to make a massive move up to the 200 moving average. So this is telling my story. Could almost make this the Adam and Eve, but it's a cup and handle. Savvy cup and handy, massive liquidity zones right there. Big gap, big gap, big gap, 3 gaps. How do you know what this is? This is the VRVP. Go up here, type in VRVP, hit on it. Yours just is going to have 240. Go here. Yours is 24. Just put yours is going to look like this with 24 on the inputs. Put a 0 next to the 24. And you'll be rocking the way I'm rocking it. All right. All right. Are we on the same page? Are you feeling good? Are you doing good? All right. All right. And now to my favorite time frame in the game, the 1 hour. So the 1 hour to me has hit the top of the range and is likely to dump. But there's always a chance of a short squeeze. There's always a chance of what you don't think could happening, right? You never know for sure. So here's the deal. There's a nice leg up. That is the leg. That would be your what's called the measured move. And 9 out of 10 times, it links right up with your liquidity zones. This one didn't. There's not much there, but you can see there's a bit of a scuffle there. Thing is, if we start to rip up, it says it can open up to 67,000. So people think Bitcoin's going to dump and SpaceX is going to pump. Bitcoin's dumping because SpaceX, everyone's taking money out of SpaceX. That's somewhat of a... I don't think that's the worst speculative idea. Like, I think some people may be doing that. But long-term Bitcoin holders like me are not going to waste. We're not going to run to something shiny over our long-term Bitcoin holdings. And I think those are the people that basically control the supply more than anybody else. Are people like me. And I'm steadfast in my Bitcoin holdings. So it's just not going to happen, I'm not doing that. I think that's the worst thing you could ever do. But anyway, who knows? Maybe someone might do it and turn into a multi-billionaire way faster than me and say, hey, you didn't have the guts. I did it. You know what? I'm not that risk adverse. I'm more into long-term accumulation and being super content with where I'm at. You know what I mean? Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation. Hit that like button. Should we long SpaceX now? I took a long on it. But I took a long-term hold position on it. And I did it on WEEX, right? And look, we're at 62.9 now, just kind of sitting here. I like this trade. It's not the worst. It's a 3.6 to 1. I could erase my stop there. It's almost a 5 to 1 with a deep stop. It's almost worth going 100 for 500 and just seeing if it hits. But I mean, you get a $3,000 move, you make $500. I like to make 3,000 off the 3,000. If I don't believe, and I found a new, my like the last year, I found a way to really get around how I, or really use the idea of how big my position is, right? Someone says, Sammy, Mr. Space, I'm going to hold a couple of SPACEX stock my entire life. Just I'm supporting humans wildly going into the odds, but it's not money I'm taking from Biddy. Hey, Sam, can you look at Punky on the daily? Thank you, Life. If you're sending a TA for Super Chat, I'll look at it. But people send in Super Chats and stuff, so I don't want to just, go into freebies all the time here. If I have a chance, I will look at it. I don't mean to ever to be rude, though, so. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a move there. 62.9 now. Changing my odds back to 4-1 there. Of course, the big funds are different. 66, 68.3 is where I think we're going. The Doji candle, the 4-hour is highly suspicious. SPACEX narrative gives the market makers time to scoop more liquidity. I watched a stockbroker that really knows their stuff break it down. And I don't want to say anything, but she talks about how if they're going to merge Tesla stock and make Tesla stocks shareholders hold the debt of SPACEX. SPACEX is not a profitable company as of right now, right? If you ask AI or anybody that question, I believe, we can deep dive it together, And you could just Google it, right? Is SPACEX profitable? It's not profitable on a GAAP basis, reporting a net loss of $4.9 billion in 2025 and $4.3 in 2026 in quarter one. However, the company is profitable on adjusted EBITDA basis, generating $6.6 billion, and it recorded a small net profit of $791 in 2024 before integrating its AI division. It varies by business segment. The division of the sole profit engine generating in operating income in 20 and accounting for roughly 61% of revenue. The space division at a loss due to heavy Starship it makes money in some but it loses money in other places. But again, how could it be profitable on historics? It's going to take time. But the idea is you're buying a piece of human future, right? I'll buy SPACEX on its first crash. What if it goes up so high, you can never get those low prices again? And that's a speculative idea that some people are, will have to live with regardless of what happens. So I felt like it was worth throwing down a little bit, not a lot. Just a little, 12 shares I bought. Honestly, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. A valuation of 1.7 trillion, right? This is a big deal, and it's going to change the way we see the stock market. We're living through some historic times. And I see some of the most learned people say, hey, they're just going to use this to dump on us. You have to remember, some people have been holding these shares. They've got them a long time ago. They're multimillionaires if this thing goes to 1.65. Employees and people, there's going to be people that rush to sell and that want to get their money because for the first time in their life, they're going to be somewhat financially free or close to it. I keep telling people there's a debt transfer. Elon's selling you his debt. Wait for the market correction to buy SpaceX. Not only did he roll the debt for Twitter and XAI, it is SpaceX. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm avoiding it too. And no offense, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to, I'm not hating. I like what Elon does. I believe him, he's an amazing person. I'm just a speculative investor. I don't want to get caught up in the overhype, over speculation. It's interesting. See what I'm looking at? The 5-minute is above the 200 and it's going tight, but it looks like we're going to, this looks like we're going to drop back down here first, 61.2. BOOKMAP says no way. BOOKMAP says we're going to load up and rip to 64,000 and that we've got a huge short squeeze coming. So, yeah. Dump it. Yeah, certain people can't sell for certain reasons, but there's certain people that will be able to sell a certain small amount or will have access to selling. And they'll even be selling on derivative markets and option markets. So, Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation. Like Elon has him locked up for a year, right? And again, there's companies that will have basically, not buying SpaceX IPO, as and I went over this too in the SpaceX video. There's a few ETFs that you can get into, and you should watch the video. Not financial advice, but my SpaceX video really breaks down. You know what I mean? This was fun to watch. Actually, they were bugging out, but this is check out this video here, the SpaceX video we put out. Also, the number one coin, DTCC. CCC, man, I own this coin, but I think it's something you should look into. And I haven't put out a coin, anything about a coin in a long time. And talked about a coin. So this is a good video. It kind of breaks down some good things for you. Shows you some deep information. And it even shows you, hey, you don't jump into the IPO, but you jump into the ETFs that already hold SpaceX. And there's other companies that are behind SpaceX, right? Yeah, I see what he's saying. Like, if you plan to hold it for 15 to 20 years, and I think that's the outlook. You hold SpaceX from 40 to 60 years old, and maybe you cash out around 60 years old up huge, or your kids cash out. So nobody knows what's going to happen. It's all guessing. I believe it might be worth DCAing, but is it worth DCAing over Bitcoin? It's a good question. That's a good conversation to have, right? Let's ask the crowd here and a poll, all right? And I'm talking about a long-term DCA. So is SpaceX a better DCA than Bitcoin for the next 20 years? So this is an interesting question. Would I miss out on, if I start putting money into SpaceX instead of Bitcoin? So it's, you know what I mean? And I'm a pretty big Bitcoin guy, and I'm questioning this idea. Bitcoin sitting at 62,760, folks. Slipping like Pippin. I mean, it is in a head and shoulder pattern. You see it, right? I'm not the only one seeing it, right? There's a shoulder, head, right shoulder. Looks like it could dump further to the downside. Bitcoin is a store of value. SpaceX will generate huge revenue. Not from launch, well overvalued. A massive dump might change that. Look what happened to Virgin Galactic stock. Hey, Sammy, why don't you buy and sell your Bitcoin using the weekly 200 MA and the 4-year cycle? Because there would be massive tax implications. And I want to hand my Bitcoin off to my daughters to be, they use it. I want to borrow off it. I just want to borrow off my Bitcoin once we bought them somewhere. You know what I mean? And use it to generate income for real estate. That's it. I never want to sell my Bitcoin. Rich people don't sell assets for taxes, man. You know what I mean? That's a bad move. So, yeah. I think that's a pretty straightforward, you know what I mean? Anyone wealthy would answer that question exactly the same as me. SpaceX is not money they can't print. They can print it. BTC is money, 24-hour liquid. It scares. It's not crypto. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, Yeah. What will SpaceX do to generate revenue other than sell shares? It loses billions of dollars a year. Look at that. I guess the extraction of resources from space is yet to begun. Interesting. Yeah, what if they get a lot of resources from space? It's a good point, man. And they end up kind of generating that, at a very, I thought you only had to pay taxes if you put the gains into your bank account. I mean, if you sell the coin for a profit, and the profit, you know what I mean? Say you sell for Tether and you have $2 million in Tether. That's a profit, man. You know what I mean? Maybe for the next 10 years, Bitcoin will be better DCA, but 20, that's likely when mining space will be possible. We're talking infinite resources of gold, metals, diamonds. Yeah. So look at this dump here for Bitcoin now, headed down. And again, it looked like a symmetrical triangle in the small time frames. It is a head and shoulder that we just pointed out. The second we drew it, Bitcoin starts to dump to the downside. Back to 62.6. To me, I feel like it's headed back down to the bottom of the pattern on the bigger time frame. I'd love if the 1 hour could stay above the 200, but it looks, it's coming back to the 21 though. And that's what you want. That's what you're looking for. You pump beautifully. You come back to the 21. This might be just a really nice bounce here. There's a chance that Bitcoin makes a flag on the 1 hour time frame. Also a chance it makes a massive head and shoulder here. You see what I'm saying? That's why you don't have to trade it right now. I mean, shorting a small time frame bear flag to me, okay. But if any, I mean, we had good PPI data. We had good unemployment data. It does put pressure, no pressure on the Fed to cut rates, though. You see what I'm saying? So there's that kind of that idea behind it all. So let's see what people say. Is SpaceX a better DCA than Big over the next 20 years? 73% say no. So we have DAI. This is the crypto lifers. Any sale is profit or a loss for sure. Over the past 40 years, would you rather have money in gold, an asset? Costco's, Nvidia, Apple, companies that generate income. The long run, those companies win. Interesting. Amazing stream. Thanks heaps, man. God bless you, brother. U.S. Space Force will start blockade for space resources. Historically, if an IPO rips upward, then the institutions that bought the pre-rounds will take that money off the table to pay their dividends, causing a dump once the unlocks happen. $21 getting tied to the 200 on the 1 hour. Yeah, I know. But it opened up the entire country. People who, yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. That's what, it's space. It's space, 100%. Also, though, some of the first companies go out of business attached to industries, I'm not saying SpaceX doesn't look like it will. Chart AI Jensen, it crashed from this ending triangle from the bottom, and now we continue there. Will be a massive move. Interesting. To the downside? Maybe for the next 10 years, Bitcoin will be better. DCA, but 20, yeah. Such a cool question, man. I love hearing each and every one of you guys talk about this. It's a great place to discuss. And look at that. You guys keep hitting that like button. We got 1,000 people here on the live. Bang. It's funny. Humanity came back that strong after being, people like to buy exploited projects somehow. Oh, you said 100% daily candle? No. Are we looking at the same asset? I don't think so. 100% dump. Oh, yeah, I mean, that one went from, it did. It went from like 13 to, yeah. It's trying to bounce back. It got exploited. It's now in the dumps. People, they still like the project, but man. Right? Some say this is an Adam and Eve. You see how it could be an Adam and Eve? Rips back up. I don't know. I don't play these games with these distressed coins. But we are just Truman, right? I don't know what you're saying now. Had my Achilles operation yesterday. You gave me inspiration for this moment not to feel sorry for myself. Hey, man, it happens. So hard to hear that, bro, to hear you going through what I went through in January. I'm coming out the other side. I still got my boot on right now as we speak. So after the unlock dumps, it's usually when long-term investors get in because there's a likelihood they could get a better price. Yeah. This is, here you go. Let's go over SpaceX for a second. My intuition says that it'll go higher than people think at the beginning. And when the unlock happens, maybe you get it at 180. Like it might go to 280, 250 from 135 valuation is where it is right now, right? If you can get in, if you get allocated shares, right? And it's probably going to open and go 150, 160, and it's probably going to rip up to like 200 on the first day, right? I mean, then it's give me some sell-off, some pumpage, and I think it could kind of rally up to the 350 region. I think it's going to do something kind of crazy. Then it's going to level off, hang out, see what happens, and then maybe take some pullbacks, and then maybe a sell-off. But it's kind of telling me that like 250 may be the best you get it. Like you may never be able to get it at these prices that we're getting it now. I don't know. I could be wrong. We got to see what happens. Sam, sending you and your family love this morning. Thank you, man. God bless you, brother. Sending you and your family love too, and everybody out here, man. That reminds me. Let's have a moment of prayer. God bless everybody here on the stream. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. May positive energy fill your heart. May you stay positive, and may everything that you dream about continue to happen. If you keep working, stay disciplined, and keep fighting that good fight. God bless everybody here on the stream, and thank you so much for being here. And thank you, dear Lord, for this opportunity to be here. I'm so grateful to have a microphone and influence and a live stream, so thank you so much. Elon will take a bunch of SpaceX money and put it into Bitcoin and Doge and pump to the moon. Hey, I 100% agree with that train of thought, Sammy. A lot of altcoin bullish of the monthly. Oversold next monthly candle might be a pump. Best performing asset for the last 12 will be the best in the next 12. Accident tap it. It's how you bounce back and hold yourself. It's you against you. Yeah. And we go through a lot, man. I went through an Achilles rupture end of January. January 29th was the day it happened. I still can't believe it. Unbelievable. And I've been fighting that, I've been going through it ever since, man. Yeah, it was a Thursday. Yeah, the 29th. Couldn't believe it. My wife was like, you need to get out, go play some paddle, pickleball, get some good exercise. It's like, that's the day my life changed. And my life would change forever on that day. Because after 6 months of being down and out in your 40s, it definitely is a bigger imprint. You're older now, so situations are more insightful. When you're 20, and it's still, you probably, if I hurt my Achilles in my 20s, I'd be like, I still remember that 6 months. Right now, I'd probably talk about it. I was like, I remember when I was in my 20s, I had ruptured my Achilles. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something you'll never forget. And it's interesting, like my perspective on life, like it's weird. I'll never be the same person. Like Sam who hurt his Achilles and Sam who didn't, not the same person. Two different people. Very interesting when you think about it, They couldn't possibly be the same person. One went through so much more kind of trauma and pain and discomfort than the other, Dude, my Chinese coin's still holding 69. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's hanging. It's doing its thing. So, Bian Ryan Chen, right? Rian Ren Chen, right? Shen Ren Chen, right? Bian Shen Ren Chen, right? So anyway, Beyond's life. Nothing crazy. A lot of stable coins kind of sitting there. It's a little awkward there. Not too good. It usually means like the market's a little sketchy. Dexy, man, I gave you guys this at 350 holding its own. And we'll look into this to see if it's going to go and continue lower. I have to get a bigger pullback. But it's been doing like gradual moves. Chart's been a little erratic though, for sure. Bitcoin, a little bit of a pump here off of the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. Giving me some hope that we're going to kind of do something fun. I like buying there off the 200 with the 21. Like, that's a great place in the high volume node, sticking right there. It's a good place for me. Yeah, I like the long that. Wow, you can be below support or resistance there and still have a 4-to-1 on this trade right now. High risk, though, the way Bitcoin's been kind of moving. Take profit would be, what, 65,278. Thursday's also not my favorite. Price starts to crawl, especially on the summer. It gets pretty slow. 62,136. Shout out to everybody here watching on WEEX. God bless you. Thank you so much. And doing some cool stuff here too on WEEX. Okay. If you're watching, tune into the live stream. Hit the register now button. All right. Below to join the Trading Rush event. All right. On WEEX. This is on your WEEX account. And then be among the first 20 users to drop your WEEX user ID in the live stream chat to instantly get a 5 USDT trial fund. Hey, you know what I mean? $5 immediately just for doing that. Check it out. Okay. And I guess my team, you guys have to keep track of those IDs. And Sean, it's going to be some work or something. You got to make sure you don't lose those. Copy, paste them into somewhere. I don't know how that all works. So it's not easy. But you've thought that all through, right? Not me. So anyway, we're looking at the 5-day chart bouncing off the 200 moving average. It's a good bounce area too. Can we hold this? The bigger time frame says we're going to come back down to the bottom of the channel, but you never know. But it definitely looks like we're in for some chop. And BOOKMAP's still holding the idea. This is a heat map order book. It's showing us where people's orders are, where they can get liquidated out of the market. And it's saying, hey, they can get liquidated at 63,730, 63,400. This whole area is a mass liquidation area where they can get absolutely obliterated. So just be careful. Watch out for it very, very closely. We can get pushed up to 65.2 is where I'd like to see the punch. You know what I mean? And there's your first level right there, 63.8. That's where Big Red is, right here at my first target where there's a bunch of liquidity. You'll know we're going to dump because what we'll do is we'll lose the 200 on the 5-minute. And right around here, we'll bear flag at some point with the 21, and the 5-minute will start the dump. 5-minute will make a bear flag below the 200. I'm telling you, somewhere in this vicinity with like 90% positivity with accuracy. I'm telling you that's going to happen. So pay attention to it as close as you can. Focus. Nice little bounce there. Possible small time frame scalpelino. A little bit of a cup and handle, higher low there. A bit of a 786 bounce, kind of a little bit of a money printed in there. Nice bounce on the 1 hour like we're looking for off the 200 moving average. Again, we need to pull the 21 up, get it into the pattern, and then Sammy might have the Sammy special tonight. And if I get it, I'm going to trade it. I even something was like pushing me to get in right now with this beautiful. It's just high risk. You get a high reward, but a very high risk for this trade. I could start the position. Then if everything goes well, you know what I mean? So I'm going to start the position, just 3 for 13. If the trade goes well, okay, I'm going to add to it right here. And that's my idea. If not, I'm going to get stopped out and then have to figure it out. Man, it could make a shoulder, head right shoulder. I may not hold that 200. High risk, high reward. I get the 383 for getting in now. If I waited a little longer, I'd have to move the stop loss higher just to get a better risk to reward. I don't love trading Thursday. I'm just aiming to try to get a little bit of an angle here. So live trade just happened on the stream. You may have waited this whole time just for that live trade. I don't know. It's up to you. And again, don't do what you see anybody do on the stream. Do whatever makes you happy. The older you get, the harder it takes to heal. Yeah, I had a broken moment. I started at the ceiling for 6 months until they both would be back together. Life changing. My mind remained strong. Yeah. I can relate to your ways of thinking surrounding that so much. Thank you. I got the same issue, which is quite annoying. I haven't found a way to fix it. I don't know. I added 100% to my short and closed 99%. That's so funny. I don't know what that means. We're setting up for a Sammy. Let's go, boss. Oh, right when I did that, it slumped a little bit. Again, very low risk for me. Small trade compared to my normal trades. This year, we take the rainbow. Man, me and Shane, I love rainbows. Oh, man. I love you, man. God bless you. Sam can call candlestick ticks like we are watching an MLB game. Nobody can do it like Sammy. Cup and Handy. Shout out to Crypto Billy. 777 in the game, man. I love you. Bitcoin's going down to Chinatown. You're funny, man. Sam's the king of YouTube. Shout out to Dude Tang, the dumpster diving man of the game. And everyone, keep hitting that like button. Let's get it moving. Damn, man, it looks so good like we're getting the bounce. Now they're flipping red on the candle. We'll see, man. I got big signals again today. A tough day to trade. That's why I'm just kind of nibbling to see what happens. Down $50 already. Man. So I'm looking for a bounce in the S&P today. Let's take a look at gold. And actually, let's take a look at what people are saying in the super chats. And I actually have a new segment for you, because I felt like there was just some interesting stuff to discuss today. And I wanted to bring it up. Just, the way we're moving, the way blockchain is taking over. So Visa says stablecoins are reshaping the back end of commerce as it expands AI tokenization efforts. It announces plans for tokenized deposits and new token assurance features designed to support AI-driven programmable global commerce. And who's going to be the first people to understand this and adopt it? It's us. Okay, we're going to figure this out because we understand it. We know it. We've been a part of this for a long time. Okay. MasterCard launches AI agent and payments network. Are you kidding me? MasterCard has opened its global network to autonomous software. On June 10th, the company launched Agent Pay for Machines. The service lets AI agents authorize, coordinate, and settle payments without a person at checkout. Therefore, machines can now buy services from other machines at high speed. The launch marks a clear shift in how values move online. Traditional card payments stay discreet and user-initiated. By contrast, machine payments run continuously in the background. Moreover, many of these transactions involve tiny sums, some with only fractions of a cent. Why agents need their own rails? AI agents have moved well beyond simple advice. Increasingly, they act on human intent and complete tasks end-to-end. For example, an agent could buy a flower shop's website within a set budget and might buy a domain, hosting images, and checkout pages on its own. As a result, one request becomes a chain of linked transactions. Considering a second case for logistics, an agent managing a delivery route could automatically pay for freight and might also reserve loading access and settle warehouse fees as goods move. Consequently, payments shift from single events to constant background activity. Human payment systems struggle with this pattern. They were designed for occasional deliberate purchases. However, agents transact far more often and at far smaller amounts. The industry therefore needs infrastructure that can authorize a non-human buyer. So crazy, right? Like, this is happening. At the speed of light, folks. It's happening. Japan approves crypto bill. Ethereum, XRP, and Bitcoin set for 20% tax rate from 55%. It's a big deal. All right. BlackRock continues to see Bitcoin and ETH outflows. They deposited 2,400 Bitcoin and 12,000 ETH to Coinbase Prime. And that was as June 11th at 7:52 in the morning. This is new data coming in fresh in the last few hours. Fortune Crypto 100 companies, they crown Hyperliquid as the top DeFi platform and debut ranking. The Fortune First Crypto 100 names Hyperliquid as the top 100 DeFi platform. Coinbase leads CeFi with Binance second and BlackRock topping DATS and ETFs. All right. And they took the model from the Fortune 500 and created the Fortune Crypto 100. BlackRock portfolio falls by over $12 billion in early June. You have to understand, they invested so much, they're so early. To them, they're quadrillionaires. So when I get into a trade, like right now, I'm in this trade that you saw me make, and I'm down, let's say the small amount, I'm down 50, 60, 70 bucks. That's just like them being down 12 billion. I'm not lying. It's the exact same equivalent. When you see me down a couple hundred on a drawdown trade, they're just in drawdown right now on a massive long. Understand? It's not even a big deal. It means absolutely nothing. It means they're heavily invested in. It's actually the most bullish symbol ever because it means they're willing to take drawdown. They're willing to take risk to be early, which tells me that they believe that cryptocurrency is going to make them trillions of dollars in the long run. Trump moves Bitcoin and oil markets hard with the latest Iran threat. He says they'll hit Iran very hard tonight. I didn't see much news of it actually happening. We'll see where that goes. I'm not saying he but maybe it was just a push for negotiations. And BlackRock is pushed an income-generating ETF. It's another big thing that comes. And Citigroup offers tokenized shares of private companies to wealthy clients. I mean, this is a big deal. You just heard MasterCard, Visa, Citigroup. They're all working on chain AI agents. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Tokenization. Things are going well. Okay, so I took a little bit. If you go to the spot market here, and even the futures market as well, but the spot market here on WEEX, which is awesome. They got so much for you. They got TradFi, regular Fi. But they have SPACEX pre at 145 right now, 143, right? And again, not actual stock, right? A derivative of the stock. But it still should track the price of the IPO as this thing moves. And what's cool about it is you're going to basically have access, right? So, I mean, it's amazing. So what I did is I used this to kind of DCA a little bit, gobble up a little bit of SPACEX and have access to it, right? And it came out, right, 180, right, at the beginning. That's why I always wait and DCA too. Slow nibbles here and there. And if this ends up ripping to 300, whatever, it could be a nice double up. And again, you do whatever makes you happy. All right, but this is here on WEEX. I love WEEX. You can sign up to WEEX today and jump on in. Thank you, Sean. as we have a pinned comment to Weeks right here. All right. And let's take a look at what's happening here. Is SpaceX a better DCA than Bitcoin for the next 20 years? And 25% say yes, 75% say no. Interesting. Out of only 230 votes, everyone get your votes up. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Some people I think are just like, think it's so ridiculous. They love Bitcoin. They won't answer. I think that's what I'm also getting. And if you want to trade on Weeks, we have a link right here. We make it very simple to trade on the #1 exchange right here on Weeks. Okay. You could trade, baby, trade. The Nightbot has it for you. All right. That Nightbot. And if you want to go to, we can replace the pinned comment there. But the Nightbot, it's almost that the Nightbot also does it too, which is awesome. But right there, trade on Weeks and go to CryptoLifer.com. You get the link right there. And go to CryptoLifer.com too as well, which is awesome. And that's where you can join my trading group where I'm here 24/7, giving updates at night and in the morning. Even if the market's flat, I might even say, hey, we're not trading today. That might be a great signal. I'm pretty, 70% of the time when I'm like, you know what, it's not even worth trading. A lot of the times it isn't. Because I've been looking at the market for so long, I can see when chop is coming, right? And many times I'm we're going to be in chop overnight. And that's what happened. Last night I said to watch the 15-minute. It looks somewhat bullish here. It was getting up above the 200 moving average. Could make a flag, right? Next thing you know, it started to pump, and that was a trade, 62,000 all the way to 63,000. And again, you just hit the measured move. Once you find the flag, you find the pole, you put it, and that's where you're supposed to take profit, at the measured move. And that's exactly where we went. It's insane. And that's it. I take the wick to the wick, And look, that's the exact target. I don't make this stuff up. I don't understand how it happens time and time again. But technical analysis is absolutely amazing. Using moving averages, support or resistance. Look, there's an SR flip too. You could have said, well, there's a nice resistance there. We came down after the wick. I'm going to get in there with my stop loss right below this wick. Bang. Again, in a perfect world, looking back on it, right, it seems so simple. But when you keep working at this and you map it out before it happens, like if you had saw this resistance beforehand, when we got up here and said, if we come down and test this, I'm going to hit the resistance. If we don't lose the 200, I'm going to use the 200 as support. You guys have seen me do this so many times. Tweezer bottom coming on the 15-minute is what we're looking for Bitcoin. And now we can get this kind of reversal pattern here. And then we got a bit of a falling wedge. That will make its way back to the top of the pattern, won't it? And then we get some sideways price action. This is what we're looking for if we're willing to get this parabolic move back to the upside. Clear out these shorts. Liquidate the big red here on BOOKMAP. And send us further to the upside for Bitcoin. That's what we're looking for. All right. Coffee is done, folks. The coffee is done. It's time for ginger. All right. I'm telling you, the ginger shots have kept me going. They've actually been very energetic. They clear your gut. Something about it, man. There's something. You research why the ginger gives you energy. There's got to be a real reason. Something about the blood cell count. It does something for you. Get you going. Bang. Is the microphone is everything good today? Just want to make sure that the value is right. We're seeing a little bit of peaking that I usually don't see. And again, the show is called The Crypto Lifers. When I put the poll out, I like to see that you guys are strictly crypto and staying really, really on the crypto idea, right? Very fully. Absolutely amazing. Blessings on that idea. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Apologize for yesterday's stream being a little late. We worked tirelessly not to do that ever again for you. And again, I just want to say sorry from the bottom of my heart. Seriously, we put out a big production. I don't want to mess with you. And some things happen though. As a live stream, right? Show number, 2,000 something? I think we've been late like that late. Maybe 5 or 6 times in my life. Maybe 10. I'll say maybe 10 out of 2,000. We've been late maybe 50 times, but like a couple minutes. Maybe 100, I don't, you know what I mean? But we've been on time, I'd say 95% of the time. Maybe even a little higher than that. Maybe 97. So, shout out to my team. Always hooking it up. Always showing up. Always doing the right thing. It's very rare. It's almost like never happens that one of my employees is like, I'm not there. You know, if it is, they say the night before, they're like, listen, there's a monsoon coming and I may lose power. So I'm going to get things ready the night before. Like literally, that's like the worst my team, or my friends, like, one of my good friends passed, I have to go to a funeral. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are the only, that's in the last 5 years, not one of my employees has called out sick, man. Every once in a while says, hey, I'm a little tired today. I know I'm not feeling the best, but that's, that's understandable. But so shout out to my whole team, man. God has made you guys awesomely strong for me. God bless the coachy. God bless Sean. God bless, and my wife, man. And it's crazy. We got such a small little team. It's amazing what we do together. God bless you all. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, Bitcoin kind of sitting here. I want to see if this 5-minute will either roll over, shoulder, shoulder, kind of head, shoulder, shoulder, roll over down to the downside. Get the pop and go sideways. I would only trade if we see. Now it starts to roll over. And I told you, you look for the flag. You look for a bear flag on the 5-minute. And you could get this move from maybe 62.3 all the way to 61. That's $1,000 move, right? So we could make $1,000 off the Bitcoin move if I put my position the size of Bitcoin. I want everyone to understand that. They want to trade Bitcoin, but they don't understand the risk. What am I talking about? Well, I'm trading leverage here. If I trade leverage here on Bitcoin, on WEEX, all right? And again, look what they do. If you go to the futures here and you go down, they have demo trade. That's where you can get your bearings. And it's the exact same as the regular futures account. Oh, look, we're down $28. I forgot we were in a trade, right? No, but seriously, we're seeing if this 1 hour can close, number one, and 32 minutes and 5 seconds. How do I know that? Hit the right click button, go to labels, go over to countdown to bar close. Make sure you're hitting that so you know when this bar will close. This closes in 31 minutes and 57 seconds. That'll tell me some insight when that closes, and that's what we're looking for. Shout out to the news segment. Thank you so much for the team providing that. Unbelievable. Audiera's AI-linked token surges 1,500%, outpacing Bitcoin. Beat, yeah. So crazy what happened to Beat there. It certainly was not Beat. It was amazing, right? Agree, 70 new resistance. I remember the Cadillac live stream. The show always keeps going, man. Yeah, we went through, my mom passed away. Sad to say, had to go in, she was in a coma for 5 days. I love my mom. I've been thinking about her so much. I'm not going to break down in tears today because, I don't know, some days I just know when I'm not going to cry. I can't explain that. It's weird. I know I'm going to talk about my mom right now and just not cry. But God bless, I miss her so much. I used to come and see her on the summer here in Massachusetts. And I used to come visit my mom. And any day right now, I can go to my mom's house and just sit there and look at it. And I can sit in the chair that I used to talk to her. The furniture is still the same. I can see her bed and her belongings. Some of them are still inside the dresser. Don't go there, Sam. Anyway, I miss her so much. And I would do anything to spend a day with her. She was such a light person. Like when you were hanging out with her, she was so happy all the time. She was like, how you doing? And you could feel her struggle. You could see some days when she was going through it, but she never let it out. And she never took out her aggression on other people, man. If she was struggling, she might sigh a little bit. She might, she cussed like once or twice a year when she was real frustrated. She'd be like, meh, She was such a sweet soul, man. She really was. God bless her, Mom. God bless you, Mom. And, I use this platform to keep them alive forever. To talk about my parents forever. For they will forever live on in my mind. Amen, man. Amen. I'm going to have another shot here of turmeric now. And look, glass bottles. No leaching. No estrogen sugar, estrogen leaching in. Hello, Bang Bang. So you're telling me there's a chance? There is, man. What do you think, Stash? Should I take a long here? What do you think, Stash? Should I take a long here, man? Let me know, man. Shout out to Reliable J. Shout out to everybody here. And you too, Stas, man. I know you lost, the closest people to you that helped raise you, man. May God bless you too, brother. And you shared that deep story with me. I still see the picture of them together. He's holding her. He's got his hand, Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation. Hit that like button, folks. It's light, love, and happiness here. We'll make you cry. We'll make you smile. We'll make you think about your life. We'll make you realize that you're so grateful for every moment that you do have. I fell through that glass door, man. I was bleeding out. I looked at this just the other day. I rubbed it. I said, man, any closer You know, to the new people, I've shown this before on stream, but to the newer people, man, real fast, just look at this. Look at that scar. You can see it, right? Right there. I mean, had that scar been right here instead of right there, I mean, that's my main artery, and it's getting sliced vertically, basically. That's inches, centimeters from that blue artery. You can see it. It ends like right there, man. What if it ended right there? I am so lucky to be alive, folks. I am so lucky to be alive. Like, so every day is a blessing. I remind myself of that when I see that scar. I believe God put me through that. So if I ever go and become ungrateful, I look down and I say, today ain't that day, baby. Running to the hospital, number one. Everyone like to be home and watch a movie with their loved one. Everyone have a girl and they're going to watch a movie with a girl. Anyone with a girl want a movie with a guy. Me and my wife had rented a movie. We had gotten some food. And we were on our way to hang out. Like, I was gonna, you know what I mean? Like, we were gonna, you know, Netflix and chill. You know what I mean? And so just regardless of anything else, we like being comfortable. Imagine cutting yourself right now and having to go to the hospital, number one. So I just even think, just even having to go to the hospital for 8 hours and sitting there and getting stitched up. I think I was in there overnight. They had to watch me. I left the next day. It was insane. Anyway. Wow. Today ain't that day, baby. You know what I'm saying? So every time you go through something in life, remind yourself, man, compare it to where you're at and say, hey, where I am today, right now, talking on the mic on YouTube. I dreamed of it years ago and never thought it was ever going to, I didn't know if it was ever going to be real, if God was going to provide the opportunities, if life was going to provide it, if I was going to fight for it. But, I decided that I didn't want to work for a living for the rest of my life. I didn't want to have a boss for the rest of my life. I wanted to make a change. And so I did whatever it took to get where I'm at today, and I'm here now. So, hey, man, we make our bed and we're going to lie in it. If you have a good bed, it means you worked hard for it. I used to see rich people or someone successful, oh, his dad gave it to him. I didn't believe that the hard work, you know what I mean? I knew hard work, but my point is you got to believe that hard work really does pay off, and it does. I'm a true believer in hard work, folks. Like, no one gets it easy. The second you think someone's getting it easy, you're basically saying hard work isn't worth it, and it is. So never downplay hard work, never downplay discipline, never downplay consistency. Never, 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 never. Look, we're down $36 in the trade. We'll see where this goes. You got to hold a little bit of drawdown to be able to win. This would be a nice pump back to the upside, a beautiful short squeeze. And it's setting up. It's my model. I live for this model. I haven't had a chance to trade the 1 hour on the model. Look at this. We got it a little bit there on May 26th. We got it right there. And remember, I don't know if you know, but we did trade this back on May 4th. And that's when we actually come from the bottom. And we got like 21 above the 200 here. We got it right there too. The 21 above the 200 in a flag. Nice pump. But that was like the last time, like May the 4th be with you. Isn't that crazy? And here we are. So it's been a while, man. This isn't like, you don't get this trade all the time. So that's why this is a trade I would like to make at least, at least what I can make, at least $3 to $4 grand on it. Remember what someone taught me yesterday? Unclick this. Unclick that. Drag your TP to the TP. Hit OK. Drag your stop loss to the stop loss. Hit OK. Nothing changes. But you can click, look, 346 for 1400. I just love that. I mean, there's nothing better than that. That is the best user experience. When I can drag and drop my stop, when I can see the amount of money I'm going to lose right then on screen as I move my stop loss. It doesn't get better than that. For me personally, this is the best user experience. The only thing I would tweak is if that it did it automatically and I didn't have to close them and drag them down again. But besides that, I mean, it's spot on. It's the only tweak I would make. And if I was talking to the team. Because like I already put it in right here. And because what I was doing the other day was going to the edit button to see it. And then my buddy was like, hey man, if you drag, you'll be fine. And shout out to the guy that told me that on the stream. You're awesome. Look, we flipped green since then. First time the trade's been green, I think, since we got in. We'll see. Up back to, shouldn't have said anything. Okay, so there's a lot to discuss, a lot to go over. And, you know, I want to talk about what's going to happen next week, too. We have today is today really Thursday yet again? Man, today is Thursday. 6 days. So, look, 98% chance that we're going to get no rate cut at all. None at all. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I love that shirt, honey. You look so wonderful. Yeah. I love you. Why do you have to bring up what I said last year? Why can't you focus on what I said right now? I just said something sweet and nice, and then you just like you refuse to receive so you can't receive a compliment? Can everyone see your shirt? Can you show them the shirt? You look nice. Oh, just the shirt?
Just the shirt.
Let me see. Walk into frame. Oh, it looks cool because you're like, that's a nice shirt. They can also see your, that was like a bit, it wasn't just the shirt, all right? Your booty was in there too, babe. I'm just messing with her. It's so funny, man. Everyone, the lifer, the wifer. The crypto wifer, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She is amazing. She's a blessed soul. She picked me as her significant other, so she must be one of the smartest women in the world. And she was greatly rewarded for that. 3 beautiful daughters. 15-minute looking like we're going to get the pump, folks. Sammy may be onto something with this move here. So we got the bounce off the 200 with the 21 coming hungry. We're up over 3%. I told you I'm the king of 3%. Nobody makes 3% more than me over here. I like it. I like it a lot. And then we got the move on the 15-minute flag to the upside. There's kind of like a, I don't know what's in there, but it's kind of like a double. I don't know. It's crazy. But I see us bouncing to the top of the channel, probably coming back down. Nothing crazy. But this is kind of the price action I'm looking. We're oversold. Boom. We got the tweezer bottom. We're getting the bounce, baby. Yeah. She's beautiful. You didn't even see her face. You guys are fine. I love you. It's probably another woman that said women are really the nicest. Women in crypto actually are sweeter than the average woman. I'm being honest. Women in crypto are the coolest women on the earth. I know I'm not trying to be, but the women that are involved in cryptocurrency, they're just not the same as the average gal, man. I have to be honest, they're a little different. Especially, you ever see a girl that like goes to a conference by herself? I've seen it, man. And you're like, I don't really know much about crypto, but I got to get into this. No one I know really is into it. So I had to come out here. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I heard on live this morning that the top traders in the world average 10% daily gains. 100%. Maybe even not that every day. Maybe like here and there, but make it work over time. You don't have to hit every single time. You know what I mean? You just have to hit. Tell the wifey, Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah. Actually, funny, that joke is, I thought it was from Rodney Dangerfield. I realized it was from Goodfellas. My wife told me, I'm going to take me no place I've never been, huh? So I took her to the kitchen. Hey, my doctor gave me 6 months to live, He's like, I told him I didn't have any money for the bill. He gave me another 6 months. It's funny, right? It's true, right? It's truer than true, man. It's the facts, right? That's the best one, all right? This is the same boring chop we had on Tuesday. I feel like we're going to dump slowly to a downside. All we need is to make consistency. The higher it goes, every day, the lower it'll dump below 45. You guys are funny, man. We just did so much big top-down analysis, and you still say it. But anyway, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm open-minded. What a woman. Oh, my gosh, right? I think we move up to 64, 67 and prep for the Iran invasion this weekend, and then down to 55 and then we consolidate for the summer. Till Iran is done at the end of the summer, the fall, we start up the bull run. Too much, that's way too much speculation for me. Hola, BB. Shout out to Crypto Billy, man. God bless you, man. Stop while you're ahead, man. How about no shirt? Oh my gosh, man. That's crazy. For me, not for you. I use the same model, get on wild on the 5th of May. It's the only time I make money. I saw the Road JB and it recognized immediately. What do you call it? The semi-special. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. Yeah. And God bless them, man, for showing up and showing some respect my way. That's super awesome, man. It's like the coolest thing ever, honestly. Right back to 61. We'll see. We're at the exact same place we were at the beginning of the stream. 67,700, 67.8. Bitcoin has been flatoshi. I call it flatoshi. And it is a Thursday. You know what I mean? It's going to be the slow grind, June, July, but we'll get back. People want to speculate. That's what they get wrecked. Yeah, exactly. This guy wrote a story. I don't want to put him down. I think you have my man, PBET9MY. I love that you're super creative. Like, I really like your creative thinking. No, I do. And I like that you're kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. But for me, you do whatever you want. But for me, this is what makes me, this is how I lost a lot of money in trading. I basically thought I knew better. You know what I mean? And I put together this whole storyline that made sense to me, but it didn't make any sense at all. You know what I'm saying? That's all. And I didn't look at the charts because I thought I had this whole thing figured out. I clearly did not. You see what I'm saying? Funny, gold looks a lot like Bitcoin. Am I wrong? Just so, like, you know, it kind of has this cup and handle. Gold's in a cup and handle right now. Suggesting it's breaking out as we speak. Gold could be a trade, you know. And I would like to see gold and Bitcoin go up and the dollar take a bit of a pullback. But the dollar has been looking strong. We're going to take a look at the DXY and Tether dominance in a second there to show you kind of how that also adds to the probability of the day. Could barely get the 3-1. You have to put the stop losses below the wicks. It's not the worst. I feel like we could go a little higher, inch it out. High volume node right there at 41.61. Yeah, gold getting a little bit of a pump there. And again, look, moving averages tight. You pump up to the 200 on that 15. Look at your 1 minute. You might even have the actual move right there. I mean, there you have it. Look, you made a bull flat. You made a, to me, a symmetrical triangle. Right? Look at that. 21 above the 200. And that's when it started to move. Trade's down $19. Again, this Bitcoin trade is flat. Again, it's high risk, folks. It's not amazing trade. Everything's kind of feeling out what's going to happen here with Iran in the next few days. PPI was amazing. Usually it's actually, you know, it's funny, when the dollar dumps, Bitcoin and gold go up. But, and they're both, you know, and then they say, well, people run to safety for gold, they run to Bitcoin and risk. You know, Bitcoin's not the same as digital gold. It's interesting, and we did see that. We saw this year where they ran into gold heavy, but then they dumped gold like a meme coin, man. It's kind of crazy. It does look like gold can get a bit of a move here. Right? It does look like gold can get a bit of a move here. Live on WEEX. And see, you don't even have to leave WEEX. You got TradingView. You got all some indicators you would have to pay for on TradingView. You have them right here on WEEX. All right. What about, Trump said big attacks coming as per the latest tweet. Taco Davey. Yeah, I understand that too. I agree. Look, they got Anthropic, Microsoft, Hyundai. This is crazy. Oil at 92. Is that the regular, let me see, crude. That crude, baby, that crude. Yeah, 91.14. This one's a little bigger at 92.3. Same idea. And again, everything moved. Wow, we're getting beat down on Bitcoin right now. Yeah, crude oil getting a bit of a pump there. And you can see same idea. Very similar to gold. And on the 3 minute, 5 minute, the 21 above the 200. I'm telling you right now, there's really nothing else better to trade. You know, and again, and no one showed me this. I got given these moving averages, but I started playing with them and I started seeing things in the charts that I never thought possible. And then it all started coming together. 1 minute hitting the 21-day moving average here, getting the pump to the upside, and then headed up to 93.9. First target would start you at 92.68. I mean, look at that. That would be the entry there. So oil does look bullish, even on the 1-minute chart. It will have some resistance there at 92. And look if this is the same idea here on oil on the 1 minute here. Yeah, you get, yeah. The derivative peg is just a little different than the, maybe the spot price. But similar idea, and it does look like oil is a little bullish on the smaller time frames. My speculation is more to keep perspective for trading now. I don't want to overtrade either way, overhype either way. Yeah, trade today for today. Appreciate you always being straightforward to the comments. It makes us better. Hey, man, God bless you, man. I never want to be rude either. Like, I'm not the, I'm not trying to be, someone's uncle, I feel like the pump would have happened by now. No. We would go sideways all afternoon. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple today. We hold that. We hold the 1 hour. We get the move. You know what I mean? We bounce off this 200. We turn it into an ascending triangle. Otherwise, we roll over. We might make a double top M pattern. I'll show you the 5-minute will make a bear flag below the 200, and you could short the market likely further down. Right now, we're getting a bounce off the 5-minute 2, and we're holding the 1 hour 2, and we're holding the 1 hour 200. So until those two puppies break, we're kind of going to sit in limbo here. And so that's it. I mean, it's really simple to me. And if this goes sideways and we get a bounce, I think it'll take 8 hours. It'll be tonight at like 8 or 9. And we'll still be in a flag, and there's a chance we could trade the flag there back to 65.6. We always say, bull or bears, who is it actually? Who has that money? It's just people on either side of the trade. That's all. Yep. Just like if you were at a fair and there's people on the ride and people waiting. You'd be like, who are these people? Is it, well, some people are waiting to get on the ride. Some people are on the ride, Have you smashed the like button lately? Thank you. Uncle Sam has already taken your daddy, Sammy. Oh my God, you guys are great. Hype should move above resistance here. Let's take a look at the best coins in the game right now for liquidity. Hyperliquid, Hyperlicky. Let's take a look at it on the Dizzy Daily. And you can trade this on weeks, futures, and spot. It's there for your pleasure. Okay, so Hyperliquid came up, came down. You got to look at where is the next support and resistance. Well, here's a big bubble of support right here. I mean, it came in resistance, right? You would think it could hit this key area, and people might front run it being a bigger coin. Could also pull a Fibonacci. I want to zoom in for you. I don't know why I'm so zoomed out there. There we go. I just want to see how that looks. There we go. Nice big Fibonacci for you, right? And where do you pull it? You pull it from this impulse here. So make sure you're aligned with that wick, and you pull it all the way up to the top wick. Like so. And you can see we kind of came almost to the golden pocket. Right? If you tweak it up to this impulse, which I've seen, we kind of bounce right there. Does that mean it's time to get into Hyperliquid? You say, well, it had a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and it kind of got defied a little bit there. Again, what Bitcoin does could get a bit of a bounce, but it also, you saw what it got in the news, labeled the best project in the game. It's the only coin that is connected to RWA, connected to prediction markets, can actually get, market share from Cauchy and or Polymarket. So you're kind of it's almost like a Polymarket Cauchy ETF in a way. I'm not saying it is, but it has that. You cover some of that market share with Hyper. Then you also cover DeFi because, right? And then you also cover cryptocurrency and AI in a bit because they're probably going to implement some type of AI agent to watch it. You know what I mean? It's going to get implemented in almost all of these. So I don't know. I mean, that's pretty interesting. Maybe maybe a small bag of allocation here at this, real key area. It does look like it could bounce from here. Very oversold now on the daily. 3-day came back towards the 21-day moving average. Never chase away from the 21. At 75, that was a chase. We ripped up from 41. Coming back down to some key levels. 1 hour showing sign. Maybe it makes a right shoulder here. It's better to DCA bigger picture style. It is watching Bitcoin. I'm telling you, Bitcoin slumps and takes a dump. This will right angle. And this will be shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. And this could, you know what I mean? You say, but it didn't dump with Bitcoin last time, but you'd be surprised how much sentiment can change when everyone thinks that we're going to change and we don't. Nice run up, though. And definitely a place to begin a DCA or to think about it. You're not chasing the top anymore. So shout out to anyone who gave to the Hyperliquid Super Chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, let's get back into the fan funding here and see what people were saying. I heard of the live this morning. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. There we go. All right, what else are you people talking about? Hype is the only coin with a daily bid. 90% of review to buy back and burn is undefeated. I do head and shoulder not play out as much when the right shoulder is not touching the 21. No, it's more just like if you get a green candle on the right side, it kind of negates the fact that you're going to dump. Been trading SPACEX on hype. I love it. Exactly. Just got a hook, loop, and swoop. SMA on the 3-minute. Right. Live trade is kind of sticking there. Let's see if it can bounce off this, but dang, 108 now. We'll see, though. The 21's coming into play. That could be a nice bounce. I like my odds here just based on how I'm using the moving averages. Are you still bullish on Aerodrome? I really am. It's really backed by Coinbase, and Coinbase is the big dog. I don't see how they don't move. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. When does Velvet and Beat stop? Velvet keeps going too. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Velvet's 12 cents. It's now 91 cents, doing a 9x in days. I mean, that's a head and shoulder pattern. It looks like you should short the heck out of that. Technically, I mean, it's a pretty good head short, right? You're basically hedging, you're shorting the right shoulder there. Someone's like, what if it rips up, though? No, I'd say that's going down. That looks like a good short to me. But you do whatever makes you happy. But you short that right shoulder back down somewhere to 50 cents. All right. I liked VVV. It was awesome. I think it's a good DCA, long-term hold. How much money can you make? You know, it went on a massive run. And look, shoulder, head, right shoulder, similar. Bearish divergence. RSI is pointing down while price action's pointing up. Rising wedge, right? I drew this for you guys. Remember when I said, hey, put it in this. Wait for it. We can delete this now, right? Because that's not, and that's why you do this. And now you say, hey, I wouldn't touch it till it comes back down to $9.60. Unless it then, it might bounce here and then consolidate. Great place the DCA is right now because then, you get a little 12, you get 13, you get 6. Again, I don't own any, I wouldn't do it, but I'm just, I'm going over the idea if someone were to buy, you don't buy the highs on any project, in any coin. Again, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't even, I do think this is a strong project that could stand the test of time. Had this beautiful run up recently from December all the way, right? It went from $1.80, it basically almost did a 19x. It's crazy, man. There was money to be made in these altcoins. Yeah, and then Beat has to take a beat down. It can't pump forever. Wow, it did continue to go. I put out this rising wedge and I said Beat could continue here. You see, I said, if you take it, you got to know it's wow, and it really did go. It went from 580 up there, and wow, that's insane. Look at the run it went on. Beat Adiera. I mean, $1.30 up to $9.30. I mean, it is, 7x in days. And I put out that rising wedge there and said, hey, if it goes, it can go. That's how it's going to go. But man, that's just unsustainable now. There's bearish divergence. Everyone keeps shorting it and they keep getting wrecked, though. That's the problem. They're like, oh, it can't go up this much. I'm going to keep shorting it. We need a red candle next to a green one here. And then we can short it. We need some type of inverted head and shoulder. An M pattern, maybe, a head and shoulder, not in. You gotta show me some bearishness here. Extremely overbought on the RSI. That's cooked. That is cooked. A red candle will show up sooner than later. You'll get a tweezer top. And you short back to the 21. You pull a Fibonacci and you say, hey, 570 is a good area. Right? BookMap still has liquidity above us, folks. It's screaming that it's going to take out these shorts, and it keeps playing with them by bringing price down a little bit. 62,650 back to 62,8. 62,650, 62,8, 62. It's like going up, coming down, and it's dragging down liquidity. Says we're going higher, but no guarantees, but it does says we're going up there to 63.5. We did lose 63.8. We were a little higher before, though. And this is BookMap, heat map, order book, showing us where the orders are. All right. 3 minutes left of the candle. Yes, exactly. We'll close here. We'll see. It's a strong close. Next candle should open with a bit of a wick and a punch. I am here daily to become a better trader. Long X follower. I feel you are a trustworthy. Thank you. Share my thoughts for feedback. To apply and become a better trader. 11 years crypto trading. Hope all is here. Hope all here for the same. We are, man. You're in the right place at the right time with the right group of people. We really got a really awesome group of people that love to learn and turn and burn out here on the show. God bless everybody. It's been an awesome journey to hang with each and every one of you and to be a part of greatness with everyone here on the channel. And remember, I can't have a show without viewers, so thank you so much to everybody that shows up to the show every single day. We greatly appreciate it. Bulls and Bears about to fight, lady. I'm here taking notes, bro, every day. God bless you, man. And again, also to become financially free. I'm not some guy that sits here and didn't figure out, even before I was on YouTube, how to become financially free. That's like, it was all part of one big story. One big journey. So remember, you can, you will, you are the best. You have to keep pushing. You can't stop. No matter how many times you've hit a roadblock, no matter how much money I've lost money. I've been a millionaire twice and lost it. Had my account up so high, I felt it was just right there for the touching. 880 one time, 960 one time. Had to write it back down one time to almost 120, 80 grand, and another time down to 240. So I've been there twice. Now I take it, Look at this. They're trying to pull this off right as we close. 15 seconds. They're going to swing a ringer and flip it green here. Hey, green is what we mean. Close green. Oh, the battle. 4, 3, 2, 1. 11:59. Bang! My computer is right on with. That's crazy. Like the time is right. Now we don't really want it to pump right now. I want it to dump a little bit because I want it to have a wick candle. I don't like this. You don't want to pump immediately like that. That's not good. You want to dump first at the beginning of the 12 candle. Certain candles, you want to see them dump when they open. The daily candle at 8 p.m., the 12 p.m. candle in the middle of the day. All right. Good morning. I'm in the wild trade from 44, somebody says. We'll take a look at it for you, even though the stream is ending. But you might not know that. It is 12 p.m., though. Yeah. Appreciate it, though. It's like coming into a restaurant right when we shut off the grill, but like it still says there's a minute. Like, well, you're still open, and I want myself a grilled cheese. Well, we got to make it now. Most people tell you to beat it at the restaurant industry. I'm not in the restaurant industry. I wouldn't ever say that to you. I just don't want to. I'm not leading up to that. I like where it's at. I want to see it just consolidate a little bit. It's on my radar. I have an alert on it. I think my whole team should too. This could be our next big swing trade that just plays out very nicely. Might even pump from here. Might pump earlier than... It might pump early. And even move my alert. It's a little closer than I thought. There, end at 44. Looks like it should hold and take you to Valhalla, but I don't know for sure. I'm just an analyst that goes over the probabilities, that's all. See the chart of Bitcoin at the top, but you know time highs and lows are the same every time. 364 for high and low. Yeah, I went over it yesterday a bunch of times on the scene. Yep. Love you, dude. Thank you for being the best mentor in the game. We will have a screen share tonight at 8:30. 6 million down the toilet to 2008. But a better version of you keeps going. So crazy. Says the low will be in October, then begin the rip. That's what I'm seeing. Same thing, but I mean, it's not that easy, bro. Nothing's perfect, so we'll take it one step, one day at a time. Does that mean I'm just going to walk away and come back in October? No. I don't think that's the best idea to do that either. It does look so bearish, but yeah, let's see. Wild looks good. Bitcoin, yeah, see that. I don't like how that candle opened bullish. You got to open dumpage. That's not a great sign. I wasn't happy with the way that candle opened at 12. Let's see if now this is what I want to see. Make a little bit of a wick here. Come down. It can't wick like that. Yeah. Looks like it's battling to make a good wick, so we'll see. I like it, I'll give you guys what happens to this trade in the trading group. Stay tuned. If you guys can, take screenshots, post it to the 99. Let people know if they're not aware of what's happening. I ran a restaurant and the last customer received the same service as the first. Proud of that model. Wow, man. No, yeah, hey. Yeah. You got to put it in the full effort every time, man. When I'm back in Florida, how about a Charlie's Steakhouse ribeye on me? If it's near, I'm not driving more than 40 minutes. I love my kids too much, man. I want to spend as much time as I can with them. But everybody, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing amazing. And you're in the right place at the right time. Everyone, thank you so much for jumping on in. Appreciate you. We'll see what happens to this trade. It is struggling. We'll see. We need this wick back to the upside, but the 21 and the 200 is strong on the 1 hour. Only time will tell. We also could have the 5-minute bear flag, right? Remember that. So we have two ways to trade this, bullish or bearish, and we're kind of having an option either way, depending on what we see. So, and that's what you want to do. You want to build a dual idea. You don't want to be stuck. Everyone, I love you. Thank you so much. The secret to success. You know what it is, right? Every single person that was ever successful knows the secret. It's getting started. They started something. They went after something without conviction, without... And when I started my channel, there's no guarantees. Hey, Sam, your channel's going to go perfect. It's going to go your way and everything's going to, no idea. But I started something. You got to start something. You got to start somewhere. Moping around, thinking it ain't going to happen, have a negative attitude isn't going to get you anywhere. Stay positive. Use this one saying, why did this happen for me, not to me? God, why did this happen for me? My Achilles, why did this happen to me? No. Why did this happen for me? What are you teaching me through this injury? What are you teaching me through this pain? I know I'm a different person forever. We talked about it. So there's always a gem inside the negative. Flip every negative into a positive. That's what the top 1% do. That's why they are the top 1%. They don't see negativity. They keep pushing and they get started. I love you all. Thank you so much. The secret to success is getting started. I'll see you guys on the flip side. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.